I like to call the Board of Education meeting in March the 17th. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda of the March 17, 2015 regular meeting as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is the approval of the consent agenda items.
Move to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next, we have public participation. Ms. Overbeck.
Good evening. I'm going to let you know, actually, to start off with, I would like to, for the SGNEA, I would like to invite you again to our educator legislative dinner, which is kind of approaching real quick. It's April the 9th. I do have an invitation, and if you're interested in attending, you can let me know by March 31st, and I have the information in your invitation here. Sorry, I don't have an envelope. I kind of fell short of that. But it is going to be held at Poppy's Parlor in Crystal City, and there will be a light dinner served. Each local is allotted 6 tickets, but if more of you would like to attend, we will make sure that there is seating for you. And it is an opportunity for you to meet our legislators, to hear from them, and for you to be heard concerning any educational issues for employees and our students. As if you're keeping track of what's going on right now, there's bombarding, all kinds of things against the employees and what they're going to do with the ESEA and all of that. So it's good to know where their point of view is. And one of the legislators that's attending is Elaine Gannon, who is on one of the boards for the education. So she will be there attending. And another member, Becky Ruth, I understand she used to serve in Festus, at Festus High School or middle school. And so I'm not familiar with her. I just heard several things about her, and she is also on the education committee. So and there's one other person for sure attending, so we know for 3 of them for sure. So if you are interested in attending, that's April 9th, just let me know. The other thing I'd like to share with the board, every year the MNEA sponsors Read Across America, and so as our local, we like to make sure that the elementaries participate in that. And so we call it Read Across America, Dr. Seuss Week. As you know, the weather didn't cooperate on Dr. Seuss's birthday, so we extended it the next week. And we did provide all of the elementary students with a bookmark, and all the St. John NEA members received a poster, and I put it out there. If there was other teachers wanted to have a Read Across America poster, I offered it to them. There were several activities that were completed throughout the weeks. I don't know if the principals are going to mention any of those, but if there was a contest, our local did provide prizes for those winners. It was a coloring contest, writing contest. I heard Bloomsdale had a unique opportunity to do a bingo per class, and they had different prizes, so I'm hoping Mrs. Usman has something on her list to tell me more about that. And I'm really hoping that next year the weather is in our favor, so we can possibly have the CAT come tour. I know I talked to the CAT at one of our meetings, and he was very busy that week, and I said, well, good thing you weren't coming to our school because we would have missed you. But if we get it in early enough next year and the weather's with us, we can have the CAT. And that would be very interesting as a builder for our reading initiative that we have going on. And just with that, I'm hoping that we're really going to have some pictures for Cat in the Hat in the paper. I saw last week had several pictures, but I'd really like to see what went on, because I didn't see what went on at Bloomsdale, and kind of didn't see all the pictures that Diane Miller, I think she was in the building taking pictures too. So hopefully you'll get to see what actually happened. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the report of the superintendent, Dr. Lindsay.
You have a couple of notes of appreciation in your board packet. We have a variety of things under report of the superintendent. First thing is kindergarten registration. Dr. Green, can you give us an update on that, please?
Sure. The St. Genevieve Elementary kindergarten registration will be held this Saturday, March 21st from 8 a.m. to noon. And at Bloomsdale Elementary, it's March 28th from 8 a.m. to noon. And you can call 883-4500 and select the school that your child will be attending to schedule an appointment.
Next on the list is some information about testing, so I will defer to Dr. Fleet for that.
Well, we are all very busy right now getting ready for testing. March 30th we kick off a lot, so I'm just going to go through my list. On March 30th through May 22nd is our window for the Terra Nova test. Terra Nova is for students in kindergarten, first and second grade. March 30th through May 22nd is also our testing window for the math grade level assessments, which are for grades 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that is quite a challenge this year, especially since the tests are all moving online. We're just trying to get our feet under us and figure out the system, and we're slowly getting there, and we think everything will be fine, but I think we're more nervous about it than the kids are. So, because we have great experience at the high school with our end-of-course exams, and that test window is April 27th through May 15th. And those tests are for students 9 of 10, 11, and 12. We are also adding this year the ACT for free for all 11th graders. The initial test date is Tuesday, April 28th, with a backup day of May 12th. We will be testing all the 11th graders here at St. John R2, and the 11th grade students from Valley Catholic are coming over to take that test too for free. So that's the first time we will be doing that, and our understanding, and the books are on the way. This year it's all paper and pencil right now. The same day that we do that, we are going to give our 10th graders the Aspire test, which is an ACT-driven test to just kind of gauge where the 10th graders are to get them ready to take the actual ACT test. So we're going to go ahead and do that on the same day, since ACT takes 4 hours.
About 4 hours 45, I think.
Yeah, so we have a big block of time that we have to do some adjustments, and we're trying to figure out what to do with everyone to keep it pretty quiet. So, and then this spring we're also going to be doing the Compass test. Mineral Area College does a time frame where you can have your students take it for free. They have worked with Nancy Toombs, and we have the access ready to set up on our computers. We're just trying to figure out the dates with all these other tests going on. And that test, our understanding is for 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. But I'm still trying to get a hold of the guy over at MAC and make sure we get the time frame and the dates and everything right and the grade level. So that's what we're working on. Any questions? All right. Thank you.
I would like to come back to item D, if I could. Recognition and retirement banquet has been scheduled at the St. Genevieve Elks Lodge for May 1st at 6 p.m. I hope that all of you can make it for that. I think at this point I will turn it over to the principals for the principal reports.
Okay, good evening. At St. John Elementary, we began accepting those appointments for kindergarten screening. As of right now, we have 60 signed up for screening in our building, and one of our St. John students is signed up for screening in Bloomsdale, I guess because of time. We went through a severe weather drill and celebrated Dr. Seuss Week, just a little bit late, but had a lot of fun with it. Our PTA has met. We've had MRI trainings for 4th and 5th grade, And our 5th grade students got to go visit the middle school and kind of start that little journey. So I think they're excited about it. They're a little nervous, but they're excited. We had the mobile dentist come in, and our leadership team met. Which, just to say, right before our leadership team met, Jerry and I were talking about a couple of things, and it was like, man, we really need a leadership team meeting. It's just amazing what an integral part that is of how we do things in our building. So it's something that's an absolute must-have for us. And today the PTA provided to our students the Hagerman Science Show in 2 separate settings, and from the roars and screams, I think they just loved it. So it's been a short month for St. John Elementary, but that's what we've been up to. Thank you.
At Bloomsdale Elementary, February was short with all our snow days. We had MRI, RTI, and care team meetings. We had a faculty meeting. We had a Red Cross blood drive, and we collected 35 units of blood on that evening. Teacher of the month was Lynette Fall, and they nominated her for her help with curriculum and pacing guide. And Shelley Biat was our staff of the month, and they nominated her for filling in for Mary Fleeman while she was out for surgery. She did an excellent job. 5th grade went in for orientation, same day Peggy's kids went in. We had spring family involvement night last week, and we had, I think it was about 230 people come in and 70-something families. We served ice cream and did spring activities, and it was a beautiful day for it. It was nice weather. We did extend Dr. Seuss week into the following week because we only came one day on Dr. Seuss' birthday. And we had reading winners. The teacher sent up the student that read the most books that week, and the student, they picked a writing winner. And we made a paper chain to try to go all the way around the cafeteria in 1 week. Every time the kids read a book, they made a link to the chain. And we almost made it all the way around the cafeteria. We were probably 20 feet short, so we did pretty good. We had readers on the intercom. We had guest readers in classrooms, and kids had a lot of fun. We had dress-up days every day. And let's see. Well, we had a shelter-in-place drill, and everyone was in place within 55 seconds. We kind of review those each time we do them, and we learn a little something every time we do them. We improve a little bit more. We had 30 students celebrate birthdays. They come to the office and get a birthday book. We had students sign the AR wall for 100, 200, 300 books and points. And we had students bring up papers for Hall of Fame. That's it.
Good evening. Well, to put a number on it, we've had 9 days in session since the last time we stood before you, so it has been a short month. To start ours off on Tuesday, March 3rd, we had Teachers Night at McDonald's, and we had about 16 teachers show up in shifts to come out. I had a ball. I stayed the whole time. Ms. Giesler stayed the whole time. Just the camaraderie, and I think there's going to be a couple pictures in the paper, and talking to parents and talking to students and seeing all that. It was a joy to be out there and really had fun, and I kind of wanted to go back next year, but she said she'll probably have to get another school, and we'll be on the rotation list. So. She will. We made about $528, so that was fantastic. We did have 5th grade parent night on Tuesday, March 10th, where the parents of the 5th graders come in. We kind of tell them what our expectations are at the middle school, what the changes are going to be. One of the huge changes is the name badges they're going to have to wear, and that's their money for lunch, and that's door access and all that. So we had a really good turnout at that. Lots of questions afterward. Mr. McDaniel was there, so that was really beneficial. The 5th graders did come visit St. Genevieve Middle School on Thursday then, on the 12th, 2 days after the parents came in. Many of them said that they thought I was cool, and that may be because I tried to bribe them with ice cream. I think they had a good time. We have kids from our clubs and our sports come in and take a group of those kids and talk to them about what the clubs and sports are about, to tell them to try and get them involved, and that's kind of the angle we take with that is, when you get here, this is going to be your school, and the more you get involved, the more this will be your school. And got some really exciting kids coming in, I think. So that was really, really fun. I'd like to thank Amy Meyer for getting that together and planning it and getting the kids in and planning all that stuff. She does a great job. Last month, I talked to you about our History Day local competition that we had, and we're going with some new criteria. Instead of just a local criteria that we set ourselves, we go with a National History Day criteria. And we had local winners that Mr. Oldham and Miss Kime took to Southeast Missouri for the District 9, I believe, regional competition. This is our first ever time there. We didn't know what to expect. It's their first time telling the kids how to do things, and you know, the first time doing anything, you make mistakes, and you tell them the wrong things. And so they took all the kids down there, and when they came back, Angie Schwartz and Caitlin Scholhammer brought back first place in the group documentary category for their documentary on Elvis. So I'd like to congratulate those guys. That's really exciting. The feature teacher for this month will be combined with next month because we haven't had a meeting and we know who it is, but she doesn't know yet. So we'll combine that next month with another one. Finally, the spelling bee is taking place this evening. They're right now competing. So I'll have those results. Asa Lemons, Bryce Trollinger, and Brooke Weiler are competing as we speak. Ms. Giesler's there. She's going to text me as soon as we know. So that's what we did up to.
All right, kind of continuing the trend of the others, the biggest thing I can report is that we had 5 days of school last week in 1 week, which is amazing. And we've had a streak now of 7 consecutive school days, and things are looking pretty good for 8, but it is Missouri. I want to, along that note of bad weather, I do want to give appreciation and thanks to Mr. Nix and Mr. Mercer for an excellent hosting of the district basketball tournament. If anybody attended that, it went really smooth. It had to be moved 1 day, which creates havoc for Mr. Nix, but he handled it with grace, and just it went very, very well. And I will say that I think we played one of the best basketball games I've ever seen when our boys played Potosi in the semifinals, and what was dangerously close to us beating who would eventually be the district champion, Potosi Trojans. So that was a great event. That winter sports banquet is tomorrow night. That's been an amazing run for our wrestlers and our basketball players. Along the line, our all-district team individuals were Drew Smelsley and Clay Mueller for the boys, and Madison Reynolds got all-district for the girls. We found out the other day that Tristan Ponder was selected as one of the Missouri Scholars Top 100 Honorable Mention Award, which is primarily a decathlon of academics and volunteer. 2 young ladies from St. John High School were also recently nominated yet again for Do the Right Thing. This one's Maya German and Mariah Ritter, and they were nominated by Amy Rowland and Mrs. Staffen. And the thing that keeps impressing me about this is it just keeps becoming more and more evident just how great our kids are by how many times we get these sort of nominations, because it's not hard to find just all these things that they're doing and doing well. Along those lines, this doesn't really apply directly to something the school does, but it does apply to one of our students. Owen Roth was awarded the 2014 Fire Chiefs Award at the annual St. John Fire Department banquet, which is a huge award for his dedication, hard work, and support of the local fire department and the community. And if you have been around Owen, you would know he was just tickled to that. All day long he was asking if he could get out his phone just so he could show us the picture of the award. But it's truly somebody very deserving and a great individual. Our Girls Taking Action Club helped the Downtown Renewal Committee with the Chocolate Walk. And I wanted to mention them because that's a new club that we have in school. It was founded by Dana Engelman with the sole purpose to help promote leadership in young women. And I think that club, it's really interesting to see some of the students that are in that club and the roles they are now starting to take in our building. So I commend Dana for kind of the immediate impact she's made with that club and organization. Our Future Business Leaders of America, in conjunction with the St. Genevieve Chamber of Commerce, offered a local computer course. We had 22 members of the chamber attend this 2-hour training in Excel. And what is really impressive about this is our students were the ones that did most of the training. Those assisting were Tess Bowman, Daniel Ditch, Haley Ford, Brooke Hasty, Jessica Probst, Olivia Schneier, and Abby Stolzer. And they basically did everything from formatting spreadsheets to shortcuts and all that. It was so well attended and so well received that they're already in talks to do another one. Our St. John FFA chapter participated in the Area 15 Proficiency Award screening.
Out of the 32 that participated, 23 of them were awarded first or second places. And I'm going to read the names real quick. Second places were Tyler Arnold, Darren McNeil, Chelsea Renault, Jake Brewster, Courtney Dunsey, Michael Turner, Chandler LaRose, and Drake Bushy. First place was Doug Bosler, Jacob Hersher, Kendall Sikowski, Jordan Haines, Gage Moyers, Kaylin Roth, David Ringwald, Alyssa Sanchez, Hannah Chapman, Andrew Nagger, Briley Hook, Ethan Bass, Reagan Zerwig, Andrew Filer, Taylor Tyson, Thomas Bolin, Brock Kurtz, Hunter Busher, Tyler Rogers, Jessica Boyer, Kendall Sikowski, Tiffany Porter, Jessica Fleet, and Nevada McCallum. All those first place proficiency ones will go to state. So once again, we have a trend of an enormous amount of students performing well, and I want to congratulate Ms. Fritchie Dunsey, who has done just an insane job with that program since taking over several years ago. Also during that event and that evening, Gage Moyers ran for area office and was selected as the Area 15 FFA Sentinel. And that's basically what we've done. Thank you.
I forgot one thing.
No.
I've gotten some fantastic feedback from our faculty and staff about the professional development day we had on Friday, that snow day that all the teachers and staff came in. I wanted to thank Dr. Lindsay, Dr. Fleeg, Officer Clark, and everybody who put that together. That was a fantastic idea. It gave us time with our faculty and staff that we really needed. So I wanted to thank them for that.
Okay, so do you want to go back to?
Yes, just briefly, we mentioned in your packets our safety report. Want to go back to item 5D, which is the upcoming bond issue election, which is on April 7th. Just to kind of provide a summary of what that issue is about. Really the two major areas that go in that are included as part of the projects associated with the bond issue revolve around student safety, and then also updating outdated HVAC equipment that is not efficient or in need of major repair or replacement, that is not sufficient to do the job that it was intended to do. So it can't keep up with cooling the buildings, or a variety of issues that we're having with that equipment. And then the other areas that are kind of the high profile areas, in addition to student safety and then the energy efficiency and HVAC work, includes the gym expansion out of Bloomsdale Elementary to allow for some seating out there, the library, middle school, high school library renovation to make it more modern, more user-friendly, more exciting for students to come visit, and really turn it into more of a library media center instead of just a library. And then the upgrades that we plan to do at the recently acquired ball fields. Those are probably the more visible projects from a public perspective, but they're also a smaller part of the overall bond issue, which is really student safety and the upgrades to HVAC type things, window replacement, and some of those things that we need to do. One of the things that we've kind of, to a certain extent, we kind of overlooked, and that is how have we gotten to a place to where we can run a no tax increase bond issue, and there have been several no tax increase bond issues over the past 25 years or so that have contributed to the safety and comfort of our students, and have done major upgrades to our facilities. The Performing Arts Center was built, all those things with no tax increase. And this board, and not this board in particular, but this body, nearly 30 years ago made a commitment to the community to reduce the debt service levy that at that time was 40 cents to 26 cents, and to maintain it there and be able to maintain the facilities and buildings that best will suit the needs of our students. And so from that point forward,
there was a lot of planning that went into those things and making sure that the appropriate upgrades were made and you know, that our facilities were maintained over that time period. And really, I think that shows an incredible amount of planning on the part of the Board of Education, the administration at the time, you know, through those years. And really, it's kind of a testament to being fiscally responsible to be able to do those things without any kind of tax increase. There's a variety of other factors that kind of go into that as well. And one of them is that this board recently voted for a refunding of a previous bond issue that saved the district over $200,000 in future interest. So that positions us well to be able to do this no tax increase bond issue. The present interest rate market is at historically low levels, which really helps us. We have an AA plus bond rating from Standard & Poor's, which is very good, and also makes our bonds very favorable to potential purchasers. Under conservative assumptions, the district's current levy produces the sufficient revenues to support the existing debt as well as this proposed $4.2 million bond issue with no tax increase. And with all that, we are still less than 5% of the lawful bonding capacity for our district. And that is something that's set by state statute. So we are still taking a very conservative approach with the things that have been done over the last 25 years, including this no tax increase bond issue that's on the ballot in April. There are informational brochures that are out in the community. We also have copies at each of the offices, and if anyone has questions, once looking through that, I encourage them to give us a call. If they don't have information that they need to make a decision, then please contact us, and we'll see that the patrons of our district get that information. And of course, I want to remind everyone to vote on April 7th, exercise your constitutional right to cast your ballot. So I would encourage everyone to do that as well. Another item under the report of the superintendent that's not on the list, and I think I will turn it over to Mrs. Reesinger to talk about that issue.
All right, you guys. To my surprise, last week, about a month ago, Amy Rowland asked me if I could go to Cape with her because Vivian Vaughn was giving an award and wanted to know if I could go, and I said absolutely, I'd love to go. So we got down there, had the dinner, or got ready for our dinner, and they wanted to do the awards first, and they did Vivian's, and then they started talking about St. Genevieve and high school, and all went on about the administration and the board members, and I'm thinking, I mean, this was all going over my head, because I was just thinking they were talking about her, and it was exciting on the things that they were saying. And by that time, they said, and here to accept the award is board president of St. Genevieve Arches School District, Martha Reesinger. And I looked at Amy and I said, what award? Anyway, guys, so what this award is, and it's never been given to two people, it's always been one. It is from, I'll read it to you, it says, 2014-15 Group Counseling Advocate of the Year, presented to the St. Genevieve R2 Board of Education and Administration for outstanding support of the guidance counseling services within the school, presented by the Southeast Missouri School Counselor Association. 2015. So, I don't mind to tell you, Amy Rowland is probably one of the best people I know. Now, with that being said, there isn't a teacher up here that I don't think any of us wouldn't say that about. That's how much you guys mean to us. Now, it goes from the teacher, it goes from the student, this high, I'm looking at it, the student, the parent, the teacher, administration and the board. And God bless Dr. Green for being a true person for the counselors. I mean, she's a true advocate for them, and really is an awesome person that I'm glad you're with us. But anyway, this is all of ours, guys, so we're gonna stick it up here and just, I mean, it was given to us, but it's because of you guys, and we want you to know that. We love you, and you're the best. And I think everybody knows that. I mean, I talked to several people, I had no clue who they were, and I just told them what a great school district we had. And they said they did, so that was great. Anyway, and thank Amy Rowland, because she was the one that nominated us for it. So we'll hang this up in somewhere. There you go. And Miss Julie, or Miss Dr. Flea knew about it.
I love to conspire, so.
Thank you, Dr. Lundy.
That concludes my report.
I would like to say one thing though about the bond issue is, one real quick thing is, I think the reason that we were able to pass all of those is because when we did the first one, we told the people what we were gonna do, and that's how it was gonna be, and that everything that we did, everything that we told we were gonna do, we did. So I think we built the trust, and I think the city or the county, St. John district knows how real we are when it comes to, when we say what we're gonna do, we do it. Okay. Next is unfinished business. Dr. Lindsay, school calendar.
14-15 school calendar. We have hopefully gotten through all the bad weather. We missed a total of 13 days, and by state, using the forgiveness rule through the state, we are required to make up 10 of those 13 days. We have already made up 2 of those days, one most recently on March 13th, last Friday. Then we also made up a day in January, so we have 8 days left that we have to, that we're required to make up. And after getting some input from staff and informally from a few parents that I spoke with, we would like to propose makeup days 3 through 7, meaning May 18th through the 22nd. We have the Memorial Day holiday on May 25th, and the makeup days 8 through 10 would be May 26th through the 28th, and the faculty work day and checkout will be on May 29th, with graduation being proposed for May 23rd at 8 p.m.
Anyone have any questions or concerns?
I move to approve the makeup days on May 18th, 22nd, May 26th, 28th, graduation on Saturday, May 23rd, 2015 at 8 p.m. and faculty work day on May 29th.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is the 2015-16 school calendar graduation.
You might remember that we talked a little bit about this at last month's meeting, and basically tabled it to this month for further discussion and allow an opportunity for Mr. Haney and Mr. Mercer to get some additional feedback regarding the impact of possibly setting the graduation date for the 15-16 school year at this point in time. And what I'd like to do now is let Mr. Haney kind of talk about the process that he went through and kind of the pros and cons and the things that were considered.
Basically, what we did was we scheduled some meetings with staff before and after school, before all the weather hit. And those were sort of sparsely attended. We got some good feedback initially, so we decided to take it to staff. So I've spent time visiting with PLC groups, getting those discussions. What we looked at was setting a date that pretty much sort of corresponded to the week after school gets out. Reason being, traditionally we have snow. So we're almost always, if you look at the calendar that was set for next year, we're adding 2 weeks onto the end of Mako. So we're able to kind of add on a little bit and close that gap. We looked at what happens if we can't close that gap. If it's one of those strange years when we get nothing and we're here every day. Well, we kind of pitched around the idea there's some events that we could put in that week for seniors, the practices that we do, making sure that we have those events that really don't let that entire week go with nothing. So it wouldn't be they get out on one Friday, do nothing, and then a week later, Saturday, we graduate them. There would be some events in there for seniors, so we could keep eyes on them, so we could try to maintain a safe measure as much as possible. We looked at the possibility of lost instruction because, as we've talked about, we need a couple days before graduation to get everything set up. So by allowing that extra week allows us 3 of the maximum 10 snow days that would be made up by seniors. The good news is, because it's only 3 in my conversations with my staff, all but one individual was not concerned about that, because they were like, if you just can show us far enough out the target and have that set. So in other words, once we miss 3 days, they know where that last senior day is. Currently, it would sit on Friday, the last day of school. You miss 1, it's on that Monday. You miss 2, it's on Tuesday. You miss 3, it's on Wednesday. And then that's where it freezes. They're like, we can hit that target. We don't have a concern about that. One individual was concerned about the loss of instruction, but that was one of the entire staff that I talked to. And most of them, one even kind of commented that we don't get a whole lot out of the seniors those last couple of weeks. This isn't going to be that big a deal to lose that kind of time, especially when we know it's coming. And that, the message that just sort of resonated over and over with the staff was that if we know, we can plan. So they've all felt that that was fine to set that where we did, because they know. We looked, of course, at the idea of state track, because that's always a concern. And that's one of the things that there was an idea that was brought up of setting it as a fixed Saturday in May, the 2nd or 3rd or 4th, all the time. And what I didn't like about that was the idea that MESHA will tell us 3 years out what state track is. So we already know we're not going to conflict with state track next year. It's district or sectional track, which is where we feel we need to be. Fewest number of kids impacted, still regionally close. So we looked at that, and by setting this a year out, if we continue to do that, we will continue to be able to monitor that situation and not have any problems with conflicts there. The only thing that we will run into from time to time with the schematic is kind of like what we just did this year, and that is it'll fall on the Saturday of Memorial Day. But again, the consensus I got was that's okay. It did all that. Mr. Bova had mentioned at the last meeting, had to talk to parents. Luckily, Mr. Bosler had mentioned that Mr. Bova was hosting a project graduation 2016 meeting, so he was gracious enough to let me attend. I went there, promised him I would go no more than 5 minutes, and I think I left a half an hour later. Sorry again about that, but had an in-depth conversation with the parents in regards to what were their concerns. Really, from the parents, I heard much the same thing. As long as you have a plan in place, that this is a good thing for us. I mean, it's a really good thing for outside members of our community who have to travel, especially, across the nation, and to get here, and who want to attend, because it gives them the best opportunity to make travel plans, to look for the cheaper airfare, to really schedule that trip in advance as opposed to when we set it 2 months out. We tried to address all the concerns that had been brought up at the parent meeting. I don't remember exactly what they were, to be honest, because there didn't seem to be any major issue there. And at the end, I just asked for kind of a show of hands, a nod. Do you agree with this? And they were like, absolutely. I think that one was unanimous. So we addressed it to parents, we addressed it to staff. I talked informally to some kids. The impression I really got from the kids, they don't care, they just want to graduate. It really, I got everything from, hey, let's host it in February and have it done, to it doesn't really matter. So that was kind of it. I mean, I feel like we did an exhaustive search and tried to look at all scenarios. The only thing that really wasn't cleanly resolved was all of this is based on the inclement weather clause. We did also look at the idea of, well, what if we have some other disaster that we're not forgiven for, and we miss an extensive amount of days. But we thought, well, the seniors then go with the underclassmen, and there's special things that we can invoke that we have done in the past, if necessary, that we don't like to do, but in those extreme cases, we would be willing to consider. So we kind of looked at contingencies all the way around, and I think what we arrived at is this date and sort of the best plan moving forward to try to continue with this. I feel really comfortable that what we're doing is we're setting in place a precedent that I feel like we can safely live with for many years to come. Any questions that you have?
I got a couple. Do you feel you could have set this up last year? Could you have done this last year, graduating class of 14?
I don't feel I could have, no, sir. I don't feel I could have, because I think that some of what has contributed to this is the open discussion that last year was the first time I can recall where we were allowed to give seniors more than the 3-day window that it seemed like previous administrations had held us to. And so last year was the first time that door opened, and that began the discussions. And then Dr. Lindsay and Dr. Fleet both were very open about, hey, let's do something here, and let's try to set something that makes sense for our students, and makes sense for our community, and it's just a good thing to do. So I think there was sort of a change in thinking as we've transitioned over the past several years that has made this available now that was not a possibility before in my eyes. Because I do know before, when I would try to back up those few days to get the practice in and stuff, it was always a tight, you know, hey, you can have this, but you can't have that. Well, we're going to go here, so you gotta, and that was always very difficult. So, no, I don't think that necessarily would be possible at the time.
And as this is being set for next year, in May of 2016, being the 21st of May, I believe you said that only, it might be, the only thing that would maybe impact it would be snow days, which Dr. Lindsay's already tacked on at the end of the year. So if this were voted on by the board, so that's fine, let's do it on the 21st, 2016, that's not going to move.
That is correct. And again, that goes to those discussions that I've had with district office and all of that, and the cooperation they've shown in
You don't have,
this
you
move.
probably don't have a calendar sitting right there in front of you, but
I have one on my iPad, sir.
don't move.
Okay.
But the 21st, the Saturday, the 21st is what Saturday in the month of May?
I believe that one next year would be the third, 7th, 14th, 21st, please.
I think it's a yes. It's just something that should have happened last year, the year before that, long time. In my opinion.
Well, I
And I bet-
very much these people say
And I
that,
bet, you know, I really feel, once upon a time when Dr. Fleet was the principal of a middle school and you were the principal of high school, I did mention to someone, if we could lock you two in a room and tell you this is what we wanted, we'd come out and make it work.
She probably couldn't. So I'm glad that didn't,
But I think
happen.
this is the very progressive, very headed into further into the 21st century, and I commend you and all the committees and the teachers and the students and the superintendents for having an open mind and pursuing something of this nature. I think it's long overdue. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Just want to echo that, thank you, and thank you. I mean, sitting at that meeting, I don't know, there were probably 25 to 30 parents there, every head nodding. And I think there were concerns that even though you covered it, we came back at it again. Is it on a Saturday? Yes, it's on a Saturday.
Yes.
Is it on state track? No, it's not on state track. So I know that'll change every year, and the calendar is very helpful with this one. And there's always a chance that seniors will have less school, but I think this is the right thing to do also, and I think every head nodded that night.
And I liked some of the comment that I heard, because we're setting that target out enough, yes, they'll have less school, but they'll be able to, especially in those college level classes and stuff, ramp it up as we go through. So they still plan to cover what they need to cover. So there's not going to be, I think, a lot of cutting off on those senior classes. They're that mature group. They're just going to work them a little bit more, getting ready for college. So I think there's that sort of approach by the staff that you'll see taken. So, you know, it's going to be less actual days, but as far as actual education, I don't see it as being very less, if any at all. Thank you.
Like I said, 2 graduation days.
Yes.
2 months from now.
Probably a historic moment for.
It is historic. Yeah, it's better late than never, so.
Jackson, I talked to the board president down there, and they do that. They set it every year. And I told her we were looking to doing it, she said, you mean don't do it already? So anyway, this is exciting.
One thing I would like to mention is I really appreciate the job that Ms. Manning
Oh,
did,
yes.
with really, kind of talking about all the possibilities. The one thing that we tried to do through the calendar committee this year, and then also with what I asked him to do with getting additional feedback through his buildings. We wanted it to be a very open process, and wanted people to feel comfortable with expressing their opinion, their concerns. And it's like most things, there's pros and cons to everything. We have to consider best case scenarios, worst case scenarios, and those sorts of things. But I think once all that was done, I feel comfortable recommending that we go ahead and set the graduation date for 2016.
Can I make that motion? I recommend to approve adding the graduation date of May 21st, 2016 at 8 p.m. to the school calendar for 2015-16.
Have a motion in a second, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay? That was the one, that was 2015-16. Okay. That's right. Okay, next is estimated tax rate. Dr. Lindsay?
Back about 8 years ago, the state legislature passed a law saying that it required the county assessor to give estimated assessments out by March of each year to taxing entities within the county. And it also required that the public entities within the county to approve a non-binding estimated tax rate for the upcoming year by April of each year. And this particular bill was to be implemented in our county 4 years ago. However, since that time, the state then passed a subsequent law that relieved the assessors of their requirement to provide an estimated assessed valuation. However, they did not pass a law to relieve the school districts and other taxing entities from providing an estimated tax rate. So the situation we find ourselves in is that we don't have the information we need to provide an estimated rate, but we're still required by law to provide one. So there are people that interpret that to say that since we don't have the required information, we're not required to actually set an estimated tax rate. But the penalty is a reduction of 20% for the not follow the law, and that's not a chance that I'm going to take. So I would recommend that you approve an estimated tax rate which is equal to our current tax rate, and to authorize me to send this letter to the county clerk stating that.
Motion in a second, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the instructional program presentation of an elementary music program.
Okay, I'm going to start this evening because Nate and I, when we worked on the curriculum over the summer, we split it up kind of 3 and 3. So I took kindergarten, first, and second grade, and he took what was left. So I'll try to make it short and sweet. I'm going to start with the course overview, and I'm going to give you a quick overview because we basically sat down and came up with a unit for each grade. And so if I cover the course overview, it'll cover pretty much each unit for each grade after. So in kindergarten music, it's designed to help students begin subsequential instruction of the basic components of music, and those units are rhythm, melody, timbre and texture, form, harmony,
and listening and expression. And we all know about kindergarten music. I mean, it's probably the funnest thing to teach. I should say now, I think that last year I was not really sure if it was the funnest thing. But for kindergarten students, basically, they're introduced to all of the basic concepts of music. So we just help them develop an awareness and let their creativity soar. So some things that we go over: steady beat, forte, so loud, piano, soft, echoing, melody and rhythm, fast versus slow, solo singing, and singing with a group, of course, singing and moving simultaneously with music, and then we also introduce iconic notation, which is using plum for quarter notes and kiwi for eighth notes. And then, of course, the kindergarten celebration is their concert, which is coming up in April. And then for first grade students are developing their knowledge of all the concepts taught in kindergarten and much more. So we just add another music concept on top of what they've already learned in kindergarten in the previous year. And some of those concepts are steady beat and no beat, echoing, call and response, moving from iconic notation to rhythm syllables. And we use, Nate and I use the same thing, ta for quarter notes and TT for eighth notes. Playing same and different melodic patterns and creating on their own, which is kind of interesting because we tell our kids so much that they have a hard time creating on their own. So it's something kind of new. You know, we tell them when to go to bed, when to brush your teeth, when to go where. So creating on their own is something they have to practice and get better at. So they create simple melody, rhyme, and beat patterns on their own in first grade. And then, of course, our first grade concert is a Christmas concert, which may be moved because of testing with other grades. And this year was a bonus Christmas. So that's first grade. And then second grade, students gain more exposure to musical concepts than in first grade, of course. And we add on those concepts that they learned in the previous 2 years. Some of the things that we do in second grade music is 4-beat rhythm patterns and melodies. We start basic solfege, so we're using sol, mi, la. We start to notate basic solfege using sol, mi, and la, and also do on staff mats. And we introduce texture, thin and thick, musical form, A-B, call and response, ABA, reading and singing dynamic markings, proper vocal production, and then creating their own musical ideas, so simple melodies, beat patterns, and so on. Second grade concert for St. Jen is in April or May generally, and this year we're presenting How's Your Garden Groove, and that's May 6th. So Nate's gonna take 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and we pretty much, you know, correlate everything together. So, you know, we talk, and with him being at St. Jen, we're able to talk more, you know, because, you know, he's obviously a veteran, and I lean on him a lot. He's wonderful, and I really feel, you know, blessed to have him, you know, be a part of our music curriculum here at St. Jen too. So I thank you for that. And I want to say one more thing, because I know I'm trying to hurry, because I know we're running behind, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I have thoroughly enjoyed working with this kid, and I'm going to miss her greatly. She's a wonderful leader and just amazing to work for, such a strong leader, and we're going to really miss her. But we are very comfortable in the hands of Ms. Diesel as well. But I wanted you to know that the overall theme is we know we're in good hands because Ms. Diesel is coming our way, you know, as the leader of the ship. But we're going to miss it. So that's kind of the overwhelming theme. So I wanted to add that because I probably won't be around, you know, for another board meeting before she leaves. So anyways, that's all I have.
Good evening. I'll talk about 3rd and 4th grade music. I'm going to combine this over here. In 3rd and 4th grade, students begin building on the basic concepts that she was talking about, and they start to transfer those to instruments, we're really starting to dig into instruments, specifically the recorder in 3rd grade and in 4th grade. At Bloomsdale, the 3rd grade students performed the Christmas concert as well as the 2nd grade students. That's something that we're working on together, is trying to get our concerts more aligned, because currently different grade levels are performing at different concerts. So there's been a lot of back and forth trying to figure out how we want to go about that. So again, in 3rd and 4th grade, recorder is a big one. Students start singing in harmony, which is absolute chaos, and it seems impossible to teach at first, but it just kind of clicks one day, and it's a beautiful thing. And I need to talk about recorder, because I feel like a lot of people have negative connotations with it and just bad memories, but the kids love it. They have a lot of fun with it now. We use a program called Recorder Karate, where as they advance and get better on their songs, they earn belts and have a little ceremony. So they really do enjoy it, and there's a lot of value there. In 4th grade, I spend a lot of time on a world music unit. I feel it's really important to start helping kids make these cultural connections, and music is the perfect place to do it. Music is the universal language. You go anywhere, and there will be music. So that's a connection that we all have. So we spend quite a bit of time talking about multicultural aspects of it and drum music from around the world. In 5th grade, music students continue the study of rhythm, form, melody, harm, timbre, and add to their prior knowledge. It's the Jerome Bruner spiral curriculum. You know, we keep coming back around to these same concepts, but adding more and more each time. And in 5th grade specifically, we've been spending most of the year focusing on our guitar program. We have that at St. John Elementary and Bloomsdale Elementary. And the guitar is such an awesome tool because it teaches them harmony. You're playing an instrument where multiple notes sound at the same time. We can play melody. They can sing while they're playing an instrument. They can sing in rounds while playing an instrument. There are just a lot of great opportunities there. And it gives us an opportunity to be the class where kids get in trouble for running to our room so they can get there the soonest, and then whine when it's time to leave, because they like being there so much. And the guitar's been just an excellent tool for teaching our kids with that. Also in 5th grade. With the guitar, we get to spend a lot of time working on American folk songs, so kids start to learn more about the history of our country and even local culture here. And with those folk songs, they just get a better understanding of really the history of the United States too. We're starting to incorporate, out at Bloomsdale right now, I've added bass guitars to it, because I'm finding that not all students are capable all the time of playing multiple strings at once, but with the bass guitars, they can still participate and play one string at a time with these melodies. Adding Orff instruments. Karl Orff was a German composer and teacher who invented small xylophones for the classroom. We use these a lot too, and they're great for students with special needs who cannot play the guitar. They can most of them keep us safe and on these instruments and perform along with us. Just kind of a look into the future. This year, we've had our 5th graders sign up for middle school band and choir, and the numbers are phenomenal. The middle school band is over 100 for a beginning band. We've been averaging, maybe 60, but this class is huge. And when I was checking today, the kids that aren't joining band, I would say 85% of them are joining choir. So we're doing something right. It's been great working with Lacey. We have a really good relationship. It's not a competition. We can share and work together for these kids. It's been wonderful.
Thank you.
Again, it's the teachers, right? I mean, you guys are what makes those kids thrive. And then they go to the next grade or the next level, and they're prepared. Thank you guys for that.
Couple things I would like to add, if you don't
Sure.
mind, before we go on to the next item. First of all, both of you guys do a great job with the elementary music. We really appreciate what you're able to do. I do have two things though. First of all, I'm a little disappointed that you all didn't sing your report.
We talked about it.
We did. So, you could have done a rap or something.
You want it, it's yours.
And then the other thing is that I cannot even imagine teaching kindergarten kindergarten. I don't know how that's even possible. They do a great job, and I just
Oh,
wanted
yes.
to
I
echo that.
saw, Mr. Kingery one, and the kids were just amazing. Okay. And- Okay, we'll move on to new business. First is the MSBA Board of Directors.
Yes, currently, Martha Reesinger, our board president, sits on the MSBA Board of Directors. But we must, I think, every 2 years, officially, the board has to officially nominate someone to serve in that capacity. So, I'm assuming that Martha
I
is
do.
willing to serve.
I do, and I'm going to yes.
I'd like to move to approve the nomination of Mrs. Reesinger for the position of Board of Directors Representative.
Second.
You said you wanted to do it.
I do. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next is the addition of ECSE paraprofessional at St. Genevieve Elementary.
Yes, could you talk about that just a little bit?
So typically for every 10 children, we have a paraprofessional. The way early childhood special education works is they do a December 1 count, and our December 1 count is not quite 30. But every year, at the end of the year, they do a child count, a head count, and so every child that goes through the program is counted. So we're able to use that count, or the December 1 count, whichever is higher, to make personnel decisions. And we are currently at 32 children. So by the end of the year, I suspect we'll be close to 40. But when I looked back through the years, the last at least 5 years, it hasn't gotten below 32, which means we could add another paraprofessional position. I think that the reason why it hasn't yet is because it's been pretty manageable with kids going in and out. As the year progresses, more children are added to the program. And we also have children with more significant behaviors. So we would like to request a professional position.
I would like to add too that the cost of that position is 100% reimbursable through the ECSE. So no district is paid.
I move to approve the addition of an ECSE paraprofessional at St. Genevieve Elementary.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we have the reduction of the 5th grade section for the 2015-16 school year at Winsdale.
Actually, the next two items on the agenda are related, in that we have that one really small class that's going through Winsdale Elementary. So every year we have added a position at one grade level and reduced a position at the other grade level. It's time to do that again. We feel pretty comfortable that the numbers will remain steady. So for the reduction of the 5th grade section, currently we have 38 students in 4th grade in 2 sections, so they will be moving to 5th grade next year. So we would recommend that you reduce the 5th grade sections to 2, and then a larger class will then be coming into 4th grade. So we would recommend that you increase the 4th grade sections from 2 to 3. So those are the next two motions or an explanation for the next two motions.
I move to approve the 2 sections. Sorry. Move to approve the 2 sections of 5th grade of Winsdale Elementary for the 2015-16 school year.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Move to approve the 3 sections of the 4th grade at Winsdale Elementary for the 2015-16 school year.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I think we're gonna see our little movie now.
getting that set up, Mr. McDaniel, if you want to
Oh,
go
yes.
ahead.
I'll go ahead and read.
Roll for credit. Do your thing over there.
Okay, I move that the Board of Education hold a closed meeting with a closed record and closed vote following the regular open meeting on April 21st, 2015, to be held in the R.W. Thomas Library, 715 Washington Street, St. Louis, Missouri, for the purpose of discussing and voting upon the following items of business: legal action, positive action, or litigation; lease, purchase, or sale of real estate; hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting particular employees; proceedings involving the mental or physical health of an identifiable individual; scholastic probation, expulsion, or graduation of identifiable individuals; testing and examination materials; welfare cases of identifiable individuals; preparation for negotiation with employee groups; software codes for electronic data processing and documentation thereof; specification for competitive bidding until approved or published; sealed bids and related documents until the bids are open; sealed proposals and related documents until all proposals are rejected, or any documents related to a negotiated contract until a contract is executed; individually identifiable personnel records; performance ratings or records pertaining to employees or applicants for employment; records protected from disclosure by law; scientific and technological innovations in which the owner has a proprietary interest; records relating to municipal hotlines established for reporting of abuse and wrongdoing; confidential privileged communication with an auditor; operational guidelines, policies, and specific response plans for preventing or responding to a critical incident; existing and proposed security systems and structural plans of district property; the portion of a record that identifies security systems or access code; records identifying would allow unauthorized access to or unlawful disruption of the configuration of components or the operation of a computer system, computer network, or telecommunications network; credit card numbers and personal identification numbers, digital certificates, physical and virtual keys, access codes, or authorization codes are used to protect electronic transactions. I further move that notice of this meeting and tentative agenda be posted as required by law. Have a motion, and a second, roll call, Eric Bosler?
Yes.
Kevin Golda?
Yes.
Charlie Crowther?
Yes.
Noel Dunsey?
Yes.
Harry McDaniel, yes. Martin Reesinger? Rick Rudolph?
Yes.
Motion carried, 7-0.